Hey guys, it's Sippy Cup with another quick look at Starfarer here. The last video I did on this was a little heavier on explanations and I was a little slow in getting into the action, so I'm going to jump into things a bit faster here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the first mission from the alpha, which is called Turning the Tables. Pretty easy mission, be pretty hard for me to fail this one, but I wouldn't put it past me. So let's check it out here. So we get 52 reinforcement points to begin with. We've got our main ship here, which we're going to control our flagship. It's a destroyer. And we get a cruiser, which has a flight deck and is going to function as a carrier. And then we've got 2 wings of mining drones. These aren't totally useless. They have some lasers that function well both for attack and for point defense. So we'll go ahead and deploy with this stuff. There's only 2 points here, so I'm just going to focus on doing one at a time. You can see these are my command points here. I'm going to go ahead and set an assignment here to rally the carrier group and then to capture. And in theory, when I unpause, it's just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the cruiser here, or actually, this is a destroyer. I'm going to set my, let's see, flak cannon and graviton beam, which is weapon groups 3 and 4, to auto fire. Zoom out a little bit here. And let's see, we've got some contacts on the radar. That's that pinging noise you're hearing. You can actually bump into these asteroids here, which I'll demonstrate strictly for educational purposes. Alright, so now we got some targets up here. Let's see, what do we got? We've got bomber wings. Those are going to be pretty dangerous. We're going to want to take those out. We've got, there's a support frigate. So this is assault frigate, and it looks like another, let's see, a wing of interceptors. So I want to take out this bomber wing here quickly, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set to target for the bombers here, and I'm going to have them harass this target as well. So hopefully somebody will peel off and start fighting those bombers. Meanwhile, I'll deal with some of these bigger targets here. Shields. So there's different damage types. I don't know if I went over this in the first video, but oh, there's their carrier. Oh snap! There's different damage types. There's energy, there's kinetic, there's high explosive. So kinetic does good damage against shields, high explosive does good damage against armor. Oh. I'm about to blow up. Oh boy. Nice. Probably should have been a little bit more careful there. Wow, I got defeated. Let's try this again. So anyway, now that there's a lull in the action, like I was saying, there's 3 types of damage, I believe. There's kinetic, which does high damage against shields, but lower damage against armor. There is high explosive, which does lower damage against shields, but higher damage against armor. Then you've got energy, which does kind of the same damage to everything, and it's a variable amount of damage depending on the level of your flux. Capture this point. Let's see, so I'm going to set to assault. maneuverability a little bit here. Took out the torpedo this time. There goes their carrier. That was the main threat. Yeah, you can't, you have to be a lot more careful in this one than in Space Pirates and Zombies. I found with Space Pirates and Zombies, you could just kind of cheese with certain weapon types, specifically mines and things like that. The AI was kind of weird where if you had mines out, the enemy would just really focus on those heavily and kind of leave alone your other ships. Oh, I won. It wasn't 100% victory, but looks like everything was either destroyed or defeated. Or retreated, rather. So anyway, yeah, there's other missions here. This one is a pretty fun one, sinking the Bismarck. You get to go up against a really scary ship. But yeah, I'll kind of do some short videos. It's kind of annoying sound there. Anyway, yeah, you get the basic idea. Like I was sort of saying that in Space Pirates and Zombies, you could kind of invest a lot of points into these research trees, which would really prop up certain weapon types. So you would find that you could kind of focus on a certain weapon type and ignore everything else. So you went really heavy into beams or blasters or whatever. They're really just about as effective either way. And yeah, and then with the mine thing, there's a pretty easy way to cheese that. But with this one I find that you've got to be really cognizant of your flux level for one, so you can't just go crazy and hold down the fire button. Secondly, because of the really insane damage bonuses of certain damage types versus shields or armor, you've got to be aware of what kind of weapon you're using. So, for instance, high explosive weapons like torpedoes and bombs and stuff, they do reduce damage against shields. They have a high base damage, so it's good for like maxing out the flux on an enemy ship. Or if you like send in a wave of bombers and hit their shields, it's going to do a lot of damage anyway, regardless of the fact that it's getting mitigated by its damage type. But anyway, I guess long story short, you've got to worry more about, do I use kinetic? Do I use explosive? Is my flux high? Then maybe I want to switch to energy. There's considerations like that. So it's really cool. I think that we're getting pretty close. Within the next week or two, there's going to be another release, so I'm excited to see what that looks like. And I've got some other. I've been on sort of a space combat kick, so I've got a couple other games that I wanted to highlight, and I'll see if I can dig those up and show those off. Alright, until next time.